I've never seen what's happened in this case happen in other cases. I mean, over and over again.
Ken Paxton is set to face security fraud charges dating back 8 years. And why is the Robb Elementary shooter making headlines again? The answer may shock you. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. It's 1 o'clock, and hopefully you're prepared for back to school because we are just 11 days away from the beginning of our fall semester. Now, if you haven't already paid for your upcoming classes or you haven't even registered for the fall, the time is now. Take a look at your screen for a moment. Here's a full rundown of crucial dates leading up to the start of the semester. Admission, registration, and tuition refund deadlines are all fast approaching. You can find more information about this at tccd.edu. With it being back to school time and gun violence continuing to rise, there is nothing more a parent wants than to keep their kids safe. That's why Wiley ISD in Collin County plans to meet Texas's new state-mandated standards for campus security with the help of private security company L&P Global Security. Previously, Wiley ISD employed 10 resource officers, but the budget provided only enough to cover the high school and junior high schools, leaving intermediate and elementary campuses without full-time security. L&P plan to fill those roles this year. It's difficult to forget the tragic mass shooting in Uvalde last year, where Salvador Ramos killed 19 children and 2 teachers at Robb Elementary. Now, Ramos's cousin Nathan Cruz was arrested after allegedly threatening to, quote, do the same thing to a school. According to the affidavit, Cruz's mother notified police after he allegedly threatened to shoot his sister in the head as well as attacking the school. His mother also alleges she heard him attempt to buy an AR-15 through an illegal private sale. Cruz has denied making any threats. Embattled Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton's years-delayed trial on securities frauds charges will have to wait until his separate impeachment trial is concluded. During a brief court hearing in Houston last week that was attended by Paxton, his lawyers asked State District Judge Andrea Beal to delay any decision on setting a trial date until the Attorney General's impeachment trial is set to begin September 15th is finished. Dan Kogel, one of Paxton's attorneys, said he expects the impeachment trial to last a few weeks.
What's happened in this case, and I've told Ken this, I've never seen what's happened in this case happen in other cases. I mean, over and over again, from a judge who presided over the original grand jury texting his wife, we got him, to a judge, another judge granting a change of venue based on Facebook posts, to, I mean, just on and on and on. I've never seen anything like it. So to your point, it's really impossible to lay odds or predict on what's going to happen in this case because history has not been a great teacher.
A federal judge has set a hearing for August 22nd to determine if those floating barriers on the Rio Grande is legal. The Justice Department is asking for a preliminary injunction and wants the barriers removed in Eagle Pass. Congressman Joaquin Castro is calling on the Biden administration to be more aggressive in its response to Governor Abbott.
If Governor Abbott won't listen to his constituents and bring this cruelty to an end, the federal government needs to step in with the full force of its authority. The Biden administration promised to bring humanity back to America's asylum system. But what we've seen here in Eagle Pass today is the definition of inhumanity.
The governor says the barriers are a part of the state's efforts to curb migration from the southern border. However, the DOJ argues that Texas deployed the barriers without authorization and workers should remove them. Hawaii is asking President Biden to declare a national emergency. Plus, the GOP candidates appear to be taking off the gloves with Trump. National News is next.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, Check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
We all know what it's like to feel alone. But it just takes one new connection. Want to get out of here? To empower many.
This is unbelievable.
It doesn't take a superhero to bring forces together. We all have the power to reach out
Let's go!
and help someone feel like they belong.
Pretty cool, huh?
We are stronger together.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right?
It's comfortable.
So how's civilian life treating you?
It's fine.
When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because I felt like a failure. And then I realized, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine, but if you're not, it's okay.
Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
At least 36 people are dead as what some are calling an apocalyptic scene in Hawaii. Hundreds, if not thousands more people have been displaced, and Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Lake adding that the road to recovery could take years. Mike Valerio is in Honolulu with the latest.
As deadly wildfires devastating parts of Maui approach their 3rd day, rescue and recovery efforts continue.
The primary focus is to save lives and then to prevent human suffering and to mitigate great property loss.
Hurricane Dora, passing more than 800 miles to the south, helped to fan strong winds over the islands, causing the fire to spread quickly and forcing families to make harrowing escapes.
The smoke was filling our house and we had no choice but to evacuate. We had no time to grab anything.
Helicopter footage shows the extent of the damage. Hundreds of homes and buildings burned to the ground, many of them in the historic town of Lahaina.
These wildfires now are so much more intense, so much bigger, move so much quicker.
Stranded passengers lined the hallways of the airport, waiting for flights off the island. Officials are asking visitors to leave the popular tourist destination as soon as possible as they work to help the hundreds of families displaced.
We need to make sure the people who's been affected by this, we need to get their immediate needs met. In the future, we rebuild. You know, Lahaina's strong. It's not just an expression. So we start rebuilding.
As former President Donald Trump's legal problems grow, so does criticisms from candidates running against him. Republicans on the campaign trail are offering their sharpest rebukes yet of the former president. CNN's Jessica Dean reports it comes as the Iowa caucus are just 5 months away.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis saying directly what his chief rival, former President Donald Trump, refuses to. That Trump lost the 2020 election.
Of course he lost. Joe Biden's the president.
DeSantis making the case in a new interview that if the 2024 election is about Trump and his legal battles, Republicans will lose.
That's not a pathway for success for the Republican Party. I think a lot of our voters understand that.
It's a similar line of attack former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie has been using against the former president.
I want Republican voters to know this is a preview of the election coming up if Donald Trump's the nominee. He'll be talking about Donald Trump rather than Joe Biden. And what we should be focused on is talking about Joe Biden and his record, and that's why he cannot be the nominee.
Many of the Republican candidates spent the weekend in Iowa, courting voters in the first-in-the-nation caucus state.
Iowa's an important state, not because of the caucuses, that's an important thing, but for our national security. Food security is national security. You supply us with our food, you supply us with ethanol.
I'm asking for your support in the January caucuses because I can pledge to you this: I will get the job done. I will not let you down.
But Trump continues to go after DeSantis.
DeSantis has fallen very dramatically.
And his other rivals, most pointedly his former Vice President Mike Pence, writing on Truth Social, quote, "He's delusional, and now he wants to show he's a tough guy." Pence has been sharpening his criticism of Trump following the former president's third indictment, saying Trump put himself before the Constitution, and anyone who does that should not be president.
President Trump was wrong.
He was wrong then, he's wrong now. I had no right to overturn the election. And more and more Americans are coming up to me every day and recognizing that.
The Consumer Price Index report was released this morning, and as some analysts expected, it showed inflation rose 3.2% in July. The findings will likely play a role in the Federal Reserve's upcoming decision on interest rates and could be a factor to U.S. budgets. President Biden is feeling confident about the U.S.'s financial future, saying more than 13 million new jobs were created and in June set record lows for unemployment rates in dozens of metro areas. But despite the president's optimism, it is not all fireworks and Ferris wheels for everyone in Washington, D.C. Some say it's too soon to declare victory over the war against inflation. Ukraine's security service says a woman is now in custody in connection to an alleged plot to assassinate President Vladimir Zelensky. She has not been named, but officials say she's from the southern Ukrainian region of Maklov. Nick Patton-Walsh joins us from Ukraine. Nick, what can you tell us?
Ukraine's security service has released minimal details about this alleged informant for Russia, who appears to have been involved in a bid to pass information about the whereabouts of Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky for a recent trip he made to the southern port city of Mykolaiv. Now, we know that she works in a military surplus store in the town of Charkiv, not far from Mykolaiv, and there have been messages released by Ukraine's security service suggesting that her interlocutors, presumably in Russia, were asking for ideas about the time, the place, possibly pictures of maybe a hospital that Zelensky should have visited. It's important to point out that Russia, frankly, would take any opportunity to kill Zelensky, is pretty clear, and that he has made regular visits to frontline positions. So this perhaps not his most high risk of task, but it's certainly something that Ukraine's security services wanted to make public, and they've made a number of statements over the past weeks or so about their attacks using drones on Russian oil cargo ships, on an amphibious assault ship, even the bridge between the Crimean Peninsula and the Russian mainland. But also today, yet more losses here in Ukraine as a result of a Russian barrage at the town of Pokrovsk. A growing number of dead there and dozens of injured, including many rescuers working in the rubble to try and pull people to safety. Part of a growing daily toll that we're seeing as both sides exchange barrages overnight, predominantly in civilian areas in Ukraine where we see the larger numbers of casualties. Nick Payton-Walsh, CNN, Zaporizhzhia, Ukraine.
Coming up, yet another reminder why Texas's excessive heat warning is no joke. Plus, are gas prices finally coming down? Stay with us.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane. Woo! You got this.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training on a Friday afternoon, and the very next day he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. You don't know how much somebody can hide what's going on inside their head. Store your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
If I could be you, and you could be me, for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
After relatively smooth sailing to begin the busy summer travel season, gas prices have climbed in recent weeks, but relief could be around the corner. Karen Kaifa explains what's been pushing gas prices at the pump and why they can make a U-turn in August.
According to AAA, the national average for a gallon of regular gasoline is up 29 cents from 1 month ago. There are a combination of factors at play, including extreme heat in some parts of the country that is pushing up prices at the pumps. At the gas pumps, a summertime surge. According to AAA, the national average for a gallon of regular gas is $3.82, still 23 cents lower than 1 year ago, but it's 25 cents higher than when the summer driving season started Memorial Day weekend. As key states like Texas and Louisiana swelter in the summer heat, refineries have slowed down. Temperatures above 100 degrees have prompted temporary outages and cut supply.
Refineries are exposed to the elements, and so refineries can't escape the heat. A lot of the time, sensitive equipment that refineries use is very sensitive to triple-digit temperatures.
Patrick DeHaan of Gas Buddy says at the same time, OPEC has curbed supply to drive global oil prices higher.
Some of the heat-related issues that now are starting to fade, but overall, the higher price of oil has been causing gas prices to finally rise to some of the highest levels we've seen since last year.
A turnaround could be on the way soon. DeHaan says the typically slower driving weeks of August, combined with a drop-off in temperatures, could give drivers some relief for the final weeks of summer.
If we can avoid a major hurricane, or if we can avoid OPEC making further production cuts or other refining issues, we should see gas prices improving between now and Labor Day.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kefa.
The Mega Millions lottery announced that one winning ticket for Tuesday's jackpot was sold at a Publix in Neptune Beach, Florida. The details behind the winning ticket have not been released yet, but that lucky person won an estimated $1.58 billion, the largest in the lottery's history. Whoever won could also decide to take the lump sum payment option, which is about $783 million before taxes. Either way, that's a lot of money. Alrighty, well, it's getting really, really hot outside, Elizabeth. What do you have outside?
We've got a live shot of DFW Airport here. Skies are looking a little hazy, but the sun shines and it's business as usual at the airport. Current conditions are 101 degrees. Excessive heat warning, which tells us all stay hydrated, put that sunscreen on, wear your sun hats, better yet, stay inside if you can. Clear skies, high of 108, which will continue on in through the weekend. The weekend Friday, 108, Saturday, 107, Sunday, 106. Those kids that are not in school, Friday's the last day that the pools are open before school starts, so you might want to take advantage of that. Overnight lows, 83 all the way throughout. And moving on into the next week, it's 106 on Monday, 105 on Tuesday, back up to 106 on Wednesday, whopping 107 on Thursday, and Friday we get a little break down to 104. Overnight lows are low 80s with, again, that little treat on Friday of 79 degrees. We're in the thick of summer, so we all have to just remember to hydrate, stay cool, wear sun hats, wear sunblocks, or better yet, stay inside. Izzy?
That's right, Elizabeth. Those heat warnings are no joke, and that was proven on Tuesday with an unspeakable tragedy down in Houston involving a hot car and a 3-year-old.
As the sun sets on another scorching triple-digit day, a family is grieving the loss of a 3-month-old baby boy left inside a car in the parking lot of the Harris Center for Mental Health and Intellectual Developmental Disability.
Here's the thing, from time to time we have incidents like this, which should never happen, especially during summertime. You should never leave a child unattended.
Police are still trying to nail down a timeline of how long the baby was left alone in the car. They say they're still trying to figure out if the car was left running or if this was possibly intentional. Investigators confirm the woman got out of the car with her 4-year-old child and the 3-month-old was left behind. As the woman was leaving the clinic, police say she noticed her unresponsive son inside the car and took him in the clinic. The baby was taken to an area hospital where he ultimately died.
I'm not sure what charges could be, but it depends on the autopsy report and what the investigation reveals.
According to state law, it is a misdemeanor to leave a child younger than 7 alone in a car for more than 5 minutes. As little shoes sit in the dash of his mother's car, a tragic ending for a boy whose life was just beginning. In Houston, Daniela Hurtado, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
A former NFL quarterback from Texas has a new Netflix documentary. Plus, Hall of Famers everywhere. Timeline Sports is next.
Jason, let's go see your room.
No, that's not right. How was it? Is it good?
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at NHTSA.gov/the-right-seat.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
Okay.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
When you talk about great careers, you talk about the Hall of Fame, but I don't think I just want to make the Hall of Fame. I just want to be known as one of the greatest Hall of Famers.
That was superstar Micah Parsons when asked about what drives him to get better. Parsons is looking for another dominant season as the leader of the defense. Parsons' never quit attitude, though, got him to a bit of trouble this week when he came in low and clipped Dak's legs, which had many on the team worried. After having warnings handed down to him by the team, Parsons addressed them in a somewhat dismissive way, stating he gets warnings every day, but always wants to push towards that line. On the other side of the ball, Mike McCarthy states that Dak Prescott will not play during any of the Cowboys' 3 preseason games, the first one being against Jacksonville on Saturday at 4 p.m. And speaking about Hall of Famers, the Cowboys had 3 players inducted into the Hall of Fame last week. Linebackers Zach Thomas, Chuck Hawley, and Cowboys all-time sack leader DeMarcus Ware, who thanked Jerry Jones for taking a chance on him when he was a young man coming out of Troy. Sticking with the Hall of Fame theme, Saturday night, MVP Dirk Nowitzki would take his rightful place in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. A quick rundown of Dirk's storied career: MVP, 6th all-time in scoring, 14-time All-Star, NBA champion, and the greatest Maverick ever. Thank you, Dirk. 3 straight series wins for the Rangers. The Rangers took care of Oakland in Oakland with a series-clinching win 6-1 behind the arm of new Ranger Max Scherzer. With the night off, the Rangers crossed the Bay Bridge for a series against the Giants. This would be manager Bruce Bochy's first series against the team. He led the 3 World Series titles, yes, including against the Rangers in 2010. First pitch is tomorrow at 9:15. Izzy, that's your Timeline Sports.
Thank you, Jason. Former NFL quarterback Johnny Manziel said he attempted suicide after his release from the Cleveland Browns in 2016. The revelation comes in his upcoming episode of the Netflix documentary Untold, released on Tuesday, where he reveals that the gun malfunctioned when he pulled the trigger. The former Heisman Trophy winner said he began using oxytocin and cocaine every day following the 2015 season. After Cleveland released him, he said he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and refused to enter rehab twice. After the gun malfunctioned, he said he flew from Los Angeles to Texas to spend time with his family. A sinking ship, a flying car, and a kid who cashes in his chickens for a good cause. Coming up, and take a look at this.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
July's sweltering heat offers a glimpse of what future summers might look like. That's because the average global temperature hit a crucial threshold that scientists have warned the world should stay under. According to the European Union's Copernicus Climate Change Service, July's temps were 1.5 degrees warmer than pre-industrial era. The scientists have considered that threshold as the key tipping point for the planet. If it is exceeded long term, the world could face more extreme weather than previously experienced. A quick-thinking captain comes to the aid of some boaters caught in a boatload of trouble. Patrick Cornell shows us the rescue, and take a look at this.
A few fishermen reeled in an unexpected catch after spotting this quickly sinking ship off the coast of New Jersey.
I see a bunch of guys screaming on the back of their boat and just waving their arms.
The crew of the Gemini changing course to save the stranded sailors one by one, hoisting them from the sea to the safety of the vessel.
Hey, thank you guys so much.
The entire rescue taking only a few minutes.
I asked them, did you make a distress call? They go, no, we didn't have time. It really, I've never seen something happen so quick.
And, wait, how in the heck did that get up there? Police in Pennsylvania say a driver went full Fast and Furious, reportedly launching the car from a roadside ditch into the second story of this home. Luckily, no one inside the house was hurt, but as you can see, the damage was severe. And get this, police say that act potentially on purpose. The driver had to be taken to the hospital and may soon be headed to the slammer to face a long list of charges. Okay. How about we slow down and focus on something sweet? That's 9-year-old Callan holding a couple of chickens. The Wisconsin kid turned those birds into serious bucks, $12,000 worth, and all for a great cause. Callan's younger brother, 4-year-old Cashton, is battling stage 4 cancer, and being a good older brother, Callan wanted to help. A family friend helped Callan sell the animals at the Rock County Fair, with the cash helping to fund Cashton's treatment.
The support from everyone is overwhelming and wonderful. I mean, our gratitude and thankfulness on it all is beyond what we can even express most of the time.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
Krispy Kreme is kicking off fall a little early with a line of pumpkin spice donuts. Starting yesterday, the North Carolina-based donut chain is offering a line of pumpkin-y flavors, including the new pumpkin spice cheesecake swirl donuts and the pumpkin spice maple pecan donut. There are also pumpkin spice lattes and coffee for the season. The pumpkin spice flavors are at all Krispy Kreme stores, and some are available at select grocery stores. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon on the Newsfeed. Remember to make sure to check tccd.edu for those deadlines, and have a great day.